evening, everyone. Welcome, and would you please stand with me and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, thank you all for coming. I'd like to add one thing to the agenda, if it's okay with everybody. It would be personnel, and we'll add it way toward the end.
So moved.
Second.
Is there anything else, so we can do it all in one motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The chair actually has no remarks tonight. Can you believe it? And we have no guests. For the department, there is, we received the resignation, and being that Munson's not here, he has asked us if we'll read it in its entirety. I won't. So Sandy's offered to do it.
Okay. To the Vernon, Vermont Select Board, please accept my resignation from the Fiber Optic Subcommittee to the Vernon Planning and Economic Development Commission and the WIndham Planning Commission. I'm resigning from the Fiber Optic Committee because, as a result of the recent election, I can see no viable way to accomplish the goals set forth. One of the primary goals of the incoming administration, along with the American Legislative Exchange Council, is to repeal the recent net neutrality decision by the Federal Communications Commission. Without net neutrality, the ideal of municipal broadband will be severely curtailed. I feel that this would be the only way to bring broadband service to the town, and in the face of these upcoming decisions, I feel it a waste of time and energy to pursue it. There may be those whose ideas are better than mine who can pull this together. I would welcome that initiative and be an enthusiastic supporter from the sidelines. As far as the WIndham Planning Commission is concerned, I'm uncomfortable trying to represent the town when the majority of voters have expressed opinions through their votes that are very different than mine. They believe in at least one and probably more of the following. 8 million of our neighbors should be deported. 22 million of our neighbors should be denied access to affordable health care. Women should not have the same rights as men nor be allowed to decide what they can or cannot do with their own bodies. Social Security and Medicare should be privatized. You should have the right to discriminate against others because of their religion or because of yours, or the color of their skin or their preference of a life partner. Political opponents should be jailed, as should reporters who write things you don't like. I believe I'm none of them. Were this an elected position, there would be no problem, as I would never have been elected. However, as it is an appointed one, I feel the voters should be given, by the Select Board, someone whose opinion more closely aligns with the town's beliefs. Sincerely, Munson Hicks.
Motion to accept his resignation.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Bronna Zlockover. I am one of two remaining people in now what I call an interest group on fiber optics. I met with the Planning Commission and Steve was there last Wednesday evening. And and I also talked with the other person on the Planning Commission. I'm sorry.
What's that?
Thank you, it's more comfortable. On the fiber optics, and that's Mark Polonius, and we are going to go forward with the work. The Planning Commission recommended that we advertise for more members, and I think at this point, because it's the holiday season, we will wait till after, unless you think I should do it sooner. There are a number of media outlets that I could do that on, including the newsletter. Our regularly monthly scheduled meeting is next Tuesday at 6:30 here in the basement. We have been meeting with two members of the Select Board from Guilford, and we've been in contact with the Select Board in Marlborough. They have formed a connectivity committee, and we've invited them. So we are going to meet with them next Tuesday evening, and we're going to discuss going forward and what we're doing. I feel we are on the cusp of some great movement and advances. And I'm going to ask Munson, I'm gonna email him and ask him for the names and contact information on the people he's talked with, and also for his information. If there's any other questions or anything you have to ask me, please go ahead.
Well, all I'll say is that I appreciate you staying and continue your work on this. I really appreciate that a lot because I think it's important. And I don't mind that you wait until January to get a third or fourth or fifth person. However, and I know you know this because I said it prior to the meeting beginning, that there'll be no decision-making because you don't have a quorum.
There
That's
are
all.
only two of us,
Yeah. So,
we know.
okay, anybody else? Nope, thank you very much, Bronna. All right, police liquidation.
I wanted to let you know that I met with the sheriff's department and went into the police department and have cleared out everything, all material things that belong to the town that the sheriff's department does not want to have responsibility over. Aside from some files, and the town clerk, Tim, is working on figuring out what we have to keep forever, what we don't, with the state's attorney, I believe, is in touch with, to figure those things out. So that is coming to an end. What the select board does need to decide is the medium in which we are going to dispose of property. Most of the electronics that have to do with the police department are outdated because it's been a while since they were purchased. But they do have some value, be it small. We could, there's a number of choices. We could sell it online. There's a couple of police department stuff like bulletproof vests and stop strips, and I'll reach out to other departments to see if they want those things. But we also have video cameras and printers and lots of weird things out in the shed. So we need to kind of put our heads together to figure out how to get rid of that, and that's in addition to the guns. There's not very many guns left, but
If we put it out to sell, I would like to see it all grouped into one thing so we can get rid of it. You know, this is what we have, this is for sale, take it or leave it all, for a minimal sum of money. But we know that we're gonna sell the guns off at another time, and they would be one at a time. I know a few of us on the board are interested in buying them.
yeah.
So, Sandy, did you have to say something?
No, I was just thinking, the printers, they don't have a hard drive in them.
All the hard drives have been taken out of
Yeah, they've been all
everything
killed.
that they need to be
They
taken
killed
out
them.
of.
I think they shot them, actually. No, they didn't.
They should have.
Well, there's a box of hard drives in there, but they are now in the sheriff's department's hands. So it's their they've taken the
Great.
responsibility to dispose of them.
Destroy, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my only concern.
Yeah, and they've taken the case files and they've taken
Sorry
the
about that.
evidence that's still there
Oh,
from
thank
cases
you.
old and new, that's all now been turned over to the
Thank
sheriff's
you very
department.
much. Go ahead.
Madam Chair, the firearms we're talking about, have they been used in the commitment of a crime, or are they
No, these are police
per-
weapons.
police weapons that the town purchased?
Yes,
Okay, I
Yep.
see.
Yeah,
All right. That's clarifying.
and we do have an offer for the night vision goggles that are night scopes, for $500 from the Thetford Police Department.
yeah, I think I remember them being interested in them anyway before, but I'm not, I can't remember, so, yeah. I would say let them have them for the
Yeah,
$500.
Madam Chair, I think anything that we can recycle into another police department would show a good effort on our part to support other police departments and be the right outcome of that.
Yeah, maybe you could ask the Thetford Police if they will take it all for $500, including my vision.
Do you need a motion to have him take that for 500?
I don't know if
I
I do,
would-
I've never sold
I
town
would-
property
I would say
before,
so. Madam Chair?
Yes.
It could be safe.
I make a motion that we allow our town administrator to contact Thetford Police Department and accept their offer of $500 for the night goggles. Whatever.
Oh, everybody okay with that? All right, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. So that's taken care of.
I second.
All right, approval of minutes?
Madam Chair, I move the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of November 7th as presented in draft form in the attachment.
Okay.
Can we do budget all at the same time?
Yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
did you want that one also? And the budget work session meeting of November 9th, also in draft form.
Okay. So I need a second.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the minutes of the regular meeting, November 7th, and the budget work session of November 9th, as written. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Bills and warrants. Steve?
Yes, Madam Chair, I completed my review of the bills and warrants earlier today. And the following warrants and bills warrants and accounts payable and payroll are presented for approval and payment. The warrant in the 10-T in the amount of, for accounts payable in the amount of $87,659.84. And I would just point out that the majority of that payment is due to the Sheriff's Department quarterly payment of 50-something thousand dollars. The payroll for 2 weeks, 45S and 46S, 45S in the amount of $8,747.60, and the 46S payroll in the amount of $8,491.38.
Second.
All right, motion's been made and seconded to sign and approve the following warrants. 10T, accounts payable, $87,659.84. 45S payroll, $8,747.60. 46S payroll, $8,491.38. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Yep, we are. Good, because I gotta get home. All right, Rescue Inc. contract for 2017 to 2018 is $49,921.78 billed in monthly installments. Go ahead. There's a enclosure here. Go ahead.
So I was just gonna hand you the original if you voted for it, that's
Yeah, and we need a,
Madam Chair,
yes,
I move that we approve and sign the contract for Rescue Inc. for 2017 to 18 for the sum of $49,921.78 billed in monthly installments.
I need a second.
Second.
Do you want to kind of make a friendly amendment that the chairman?
And the chair sign.
Okay. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye unless you have something to, you want to add something?
I just wanted a question
Sure.
answered. Does Rescue Inc. provide us with any kind of like either year-end statement or something as to what this is actually, I mean, how many visits they made, that kind of thing? Do they do anything like that?
I don't know, that would be a
I
good
don't
question
either.
for the treasurer. I don't know, I've never seen that.
All right.
But they must have an invoice of some sort that they send into to the treasurer, so, I mean, maybe that'd be something, we
Well,
should
I
ask.
from what I've seen of the invoices, it's
just
simply
Just
the monthly
the monthly
bills.
bill.
I
Yeah.
didn't, there was nothing, I think it's actually in this package you all are looking at, and
Yeah.
it simply says so many dollars, I think
Well,
$4,000-something dollars per month.
We're going to be adding hopefully, maybe, possibly a new rep this
Yes.
evening as well. Maybe we can say that maybe they should be coming in and speaking to us quarterly.
Sure.
Doesn't he come in at the end of the year? Doesn't Drew come in at the end of the year and tell us what they did throughout the course of the year?
Yeah, he always comes in,
Yeah,
yeah.
so we get a yearly report from
Verbal or written?
verbal from Drew
But-
Hazelton, who's the representative for
I see.
rescue of
And
what
that
they've
I
done
guess-
through in Vernon and what the upcoming year is gonna
Right.
look like in their new endeavors as Rescue Inc. and that kind of
Right,
thing.
well, having not having gone through that, I would assume that the rest of the board must have found it satisfactory the last time they came in, and
Yeah, we
don't
it's
need
every
any
year,
more
yeah.
information, right? All right, just, it's a large ticket item,
It is.
just interested, you know. That's I don't have any further questions at this point.
Okay. Anybody else? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Oops, gotta print it. Wyndham Regional Commission assessment for $4,914, up from $4,123 this year.
And you don't have to sign anything for
No.
this one. No, it's just an FYI, especially as we do go into budget stuff, so that you know the assessment has come up.
Okay? Any questions
Yeah,
on
it's
that
a
one?
sharp, I don't know, what does that work out to percentage?
20%.
Yeah,
increase.
20%.
That's a hefty increase.
Yep.
And personally, I think that it's really not called for, given that we are not getting, or that as far as I'm aware, that we're not getting 20% increase in services, or even 15%. The extra that we are getting from them, we're paying via grants. So I just would make a comment that it seems to me it should have more flesh on it but I guess we're over a barrel, aren't we? Yeah.
I think so.
All right, well,
Did you get that statement? So
being
you-
over a barrel.
Here in our minutes.
Being over a barrel here. Here, my veins are on this side.
I will say that their staff was a huge help while I was writing the municipal planning grant. And I hope to use those services more to get our
Oh, good.
dollars
So
worth
you're-
out of this
you're-
assessment in the future as more grants come through.
Yes.
So we'll definitely be pulling on those resources, and if we can get them.
So they didn't require additional funding for those assistances that you were received, or you
No.
received, okay, well, that's, all
And I
right,
spent
that's a
a lot of time on the
positive
phone with them and they
note, yeah.
reviewed.
I can grab onto that lifeline, yeah.
That helped.
Helps.
It does.
They were very helpful.
Yeah.
Now, if we get the grant, I'll sing more of their praises, so, but we won't know for another month or so.
Okay, moving right along. Employee insurance plan for 2017, 18.
And I would have put this on the budget agenda, but if we pull together a consensus, then I can have updated numbers for you starting tomorrow, on those budget sheets.
And we have the platinum now, right?
Yes.
Okay, what's an OOP?
What's a who?
Oh,
Out of
OOP.
pocket
Thank you.
expenses. Yeah, I was gonna say, if you have any questions, I tried to.
I thought you said something else, Sandy. I was gonna say Sandy.
What's
Is
an
that all
OOP?
based on a family plan? The
The
deductible going up? and
all the
out-of-pocket?
deductibles, the out-of-pocket, the co-pays, those are all the same. The percentage at the bottom is an average of all of them. So,
Yeah, because you've got singles in here, you've got families in
right,
here.
so the increase in premium is, but the deductibles and the out-of-pocket, those were the same for family or individual. And I think I have to. looked it upstairs.
Wow, their copay would go up 50%?
Yep.
I would say leave it the same, but that's up to you guys.
The copay is currently how much?
$10.
And so we go to $20?
It goes to, well, it depends, if you do the
Or
gold,
no,
that's gonna go up to
$15.
15.
All right.
But the out-of-pocket is the out-of-pocket and the deductibles are kind of the big ones. Cause the out-of-pocket expenses will go from $1,000 to $4,200.
Yeah.
Those are, that's kind of the big
That's a
difference
big
for
jump,
the
yeah.
employees.
That's awful, how could they cover that?
And the off the top
I do it every
deductible goes up to an extra $850.
I know, but we have to play into what everybody else does, I think it's, I don't know, I think that we should leave it the same, but I'm only one on the board.
And to be honest, and I mean, the savings between, keeping it the same is only 5%, you're saving 5%, but the employees are really losing a huge hunk. Just
So you're
saying.
actually saving 12%, right? Cause if we
Well,
stay
you're
with the
saving
platinum, if we
five
stay
from
with the
now.
platinum plan, it goes up 7% from last year.
Right,
If we go with the gold plan, it goes down 5%, so it's actually a 12%
From last year.
savings. Okay, alright, I see
yeah,
what you're
that's all
saying.
from last year's numbers,
Alright.
or from current numbers, I should say.
I'm thinking the platinum.
I agree, but what you guys think?
Now, we increased the percentage that is paid in last year, right?
We did,
Do we remember how much that was?
yes, 2.5%.
It's 2.5%.
I don't know, I haven't had to go through one of these with the town staff, so.
Well, I would hate to say to, our, the employees, June 30th, you pay $1,000 in if you go to the, have to have surgery or whatever, and then, but on July 1st, you're gonna have to be paying $4,200, everybody, I don't know how to do that.
I understand what you're saying. On the flip side, it would
But on the-
add to the
right.
tax bill for the entire
Exactly
town.
right, exactly.
I don't know what it adds to the tax bill, but it's obviously gonna have some impact.
Yep.
It just, I know that it's not something we have control over per se. I mean, we have choices, but
Yeah.
anytime you step down from the best choice to something less than, they call it gold and silver, but really,
Yeah. I wouldn't go as far as the silver. I would like to keep it the same as platinum, but, if you guys think that you should go down to gold, that's up to you guys.
Why don't we look at the
Yeah.
gold package and then,
Well, these are real numbers
yeah,
that are in here for each,
That's what it's gonna
the town
cost.
contribution for each department.
yeah.
why don't we
So-
look at the gold package and giving them back their 2.5% and see how that weighs out?
Oh. So in other words, their deductible would not be 2.5% increase to what their deductible would be?
No,
From
that,
last
that
year,
that
right?
would be
That
the,
means
that's
it's-
the weekly out-of-pocket expense went up by 2.5% last year.
Right, right. So give that back to them.
Can we have Cindy look at utilizing the gold package and then removing that 2.5% increase that we did last year in the out-of-pocket expense for the employees?
So turn the town contribution to 85%, and then
With
because
the
right
gold
now, the
package.
town contribution is 82.5%. So the town would contribute 85% and the employee,
I don't know if that would play out to benefit anyone or not, but I'd like to see it in numbers.
Sounds good. Let's get a
Cause
full
that puts a
picture.
little bit more back in your paycheck and
Yep.
if it saves the town a little bit and helps with
Helps
that
them a little
jump
bit.
in the out-of-pocket expense, then maybe that's the best of both worlds.
I think so.
Everybody keeps a little money in their pocket and then the town doesn't pay as much as well.
I like compromises like that.
Yeah, me too, me too.
Let's
All
see
right.
numbers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's see the numbers.
Can we put that in, can we maybe get Cindy to get that for us for tomorrow? I know that's kind of a big, but
Could you come in at midnight?
Better call it, better go out, we'll take a
I'm
break.
gonna tell her that was your idea.
yeah, you can tell her it's my idea, that's fine.
If possible.
We can probably do it on this sheet, but honestly, I'm not gonna be able to get them into the budgets.
No.
No,
No,
that's
no.
fine. I just wanna be able to see it
Just
in
wanted
plain
to see
numbers
the
like that.
figures. Yeah,
Okay.
tomorrow night. The
I wanna
figures.
see how it helps the employees cover that additional out-of-pocket expense and if we can still realize the savings at the same time.
So you wanna
Figure
see
it up
what
already?
employees are gonna get back? I mean, it's not gonna be close to the out-of-pocket expense, I can tell you that right off the top, that they're not gonna get back.
No,
But I can tell you
wanna
what
see
the
how it-
town's
Yeah,
contribution,
Yeah.
we can, I'm sure we can.
tell how the town contribution changes and we'll see. The thing that I will always go back to as long as I'm on the select board, and that may not be much longer than the rest of this next year. But as we look through all of our budget sheets, and I'm not saying this because they don't deserve it, but our employees are the highest paid town employees in southern Vermont. And they have the best insurance plan in southern Vermont, which is all well and good, but at some point,
Yeah.
we have to think about our residents as well, besides our, 10 employees. Everybody deals with this type of insurance on a daily basis in their daily lives. I do in mine, and it's a fact of
I
life.
hate to tell you what I have to pay a month,
Oh, I'm sure, and that's the harsh
but
reality.
I'm thankful I do,
Yeah, that's the harsh reality that we live in, is that everything's getting more expensive, and I think somebody said, we can't balance the budget on the backs of our employees, which is 100% correct, because if we could, we'd be eliminating employees like crazy, just like corporations do, to balance our budget. But we can't do that. We have to have enough people to run the town, and we wanna keep the ones that are here that do a good job for us happy. I understand that as well, but there has to be a fine balance. The best of everything, the best pay, the best health insurance, and the highest tax rate, that doesn't go together. And we have to find that perfect balance as a select board.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so we'll find them figures out for tomorrow night. You don't have to put it work it into our budget. But if we could have those, that would be fantastic, okay? Ready to move on? Town representative to rescue. As you all know, we received, Dick McNary's resignation. And we do have a person that has stepped up and offered his services, Gregory Stoughton. He states that he's a resident of Vernon, interested in being our town representative to Rescue Inc. He feels as though he would be a good fit for this position, as he works full-time as an advanced emergency medical technician in an ambulance service in New Hampshire, which works in a similar manner to rescue. He goes on to say he has a thorough working understanding of the EMS system and the interactions of a private EMS interaction of a private EMS agency with municipalities as agency contracts with, as his agency that he works for contracts with 13 towns. So, what say you all?
Madam Chair, I think he certainly has the qualifications that would be appropriate for this representation.
I would agree.
Were there any other applicants, or were there?
Not that I
know. Okay.
No, this was put out in the
I know it was.
Town of Vernon website,
Yes, it
well,
was.
unofficial, and Facebook.
Yes,
And I
right.
think Brana.
And Brana put it in the paper,
newsletter
yeah.
too.
Right.
Our newsletter,
Well,
so,
I feel that he doesn't, so I'll move that we appoint him as our representative from Vernon.
Second.
Okay. Any more discussion on that? All right, motion's been made and seconded to name Gregory Stoughton as our town representative to Rescue Inc. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. All right, junk ordinance. We're gonna get into this tonight? I mean, it's only been like, we keep passing it over.
I made this so easy for you
Okay.
to finish.
You have.
So we could start the posting of it and okay, there's questions that you need to ask, so I kind of just pointed you straight to those questions that you need to answer. So you need to pick whoever you want to enforce the ordinance. First of all, do you want a junk ordinance? And this isn't to,
Well, we have to, if we wanna be able to enforce the law, we have to.
Well, if you wanna be able to tell people to pick up their garbage outside the front of their house, if there's a junk car sitting on the road, you wanna remove it. If someone's got a junk car on their property that's not theirs and they want permission to get it off. The definition of a junk car, how many days is it unregistered, unused, those are this. It has nothing to do with salvage yards, or anything like that. It's not, it doesn't go that far. So this is just if there's a pile of garbage in front of somebody's house
Junk
and the neighbors don't wanna look at it anymore, this is a vehicle where they, will have some relief.
Now,
It's important to figure out whether you wanna do that or not.
what about junk that, I suppose it would fall under this as well, I guess. I was thinking of like near the river, you're in your flood zone and they have the junk and stuff like that. So I suppose this would cover that too,
Well, the other
right?
thing that covers that is this,
Planning.
the
has
flood,
covered.
the flood plain, that becomes an issue down the road when you have flooding, and that stuff picks up and carries downstream.
Right.
Plugs up a culvert, takes out a bridge, and so, well, I mean, this is the kinds of things that happen.
Yeah, absolutely
And
does.
so there isn't a state mandated thing that we already have in our town plan, and I think that it's still there. Really, before I speak, I should probably say something.
Well, I think it is.
But yeah.
I think it is.
And of course, the person that administers that is the planning, the chairman of the planning
Right.
commission, right?
Yeah.
And so,
Because I know we had to one
is
other
this,
time.
this is driven by a state ordinance, is it, or a state requirement? I notice it's citing the
Well,
sections here.
Because of the problems that we've had to have the health officer come in, this will take care of it.
Right, that's correct.
No, it would be the same thing, I think, because if we, whoever's gonna administrate these ordinances is probably going to be the health officer.
well, I meant
So,
that,
We'd have
at least we have
We'd have an
something,
ordinance
right.
to stand on to tell people to get their
This would
junk out
take
of the
care
front
of it.
yard.
That's what I meant.
Instead of Mark
Yeah.
saying, please get your junk out of the front yard,
Yep.
because the select board would like you to.
yeah,
Right.
yes,
Right now-
exactly right.
Right now, he really doesn't have any power to do that unless there's an
Right.
imminent danger of
Yeah.
health or safety. This defines junk.
Yeah.
And it could be him, or it could be a police officer, a constable, it could be a select board person. That's one of the things you have to do
Well, I
is
would
designate
say,
that person.
I would say instead of having one enforcement officer, I would say that the health officer would be the enforcing officer, but, we would be like would you think that the, select board would be a backup to that, or you've got something to say, Sandy, say it.
Well, it says it means any official health officer or law enforcement official appointed by the select board.
Well, no, what's in titles? That means you pick whoever you.
Right, so why
want.
can't you have it be, oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why it's in caps. Pick one, or two, or all of them.
I like all of them.
You can do that. That's
I
up
do
to you to
too.
pick who that
You
individual
know,
is.
yeah.
Again, just pointing you to the questions, and these are
Because-
the big decisions.
Because then that also allows the board, suppose Barbara was really good at this, they could appoint her to do that,
Absolutely.
you know?
Right.
She
Yeah.
would, you know,
She likes riding around town picking up people. Get your junk picked up now.
no, I like off.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
I did want to ask a question
Sure,
about
please.
where this intersects with, and I'm just going to paint a picture and you can, in your mind, pull it together, but Okay, you have let's say that you have a building that has fallen out of use. You're no longer putting any money into it. The aluminum roofing is starting to blow off every time we have a heavy windstorm. There are pieces of it falling over. Does that fall into this junk thing too?
I would think so.
Okay.
House?
From the way the section 3E reads,
Right.
it makes sense to me that it would, yes.
Yes, yeah.
Well, if taxes are being paid on it, I mean, if you're talking about a house and taxes are being paid
Well, I'm
on
A little
talking
that-
shed
about
or
more
something, but if
associated
it's-
structures.
Yes,
Which are in such disrepair that they're literally falling down.
Yeah, then okay.
then I would say it was
And
covered.
even that would fall under
Yep.
probably the health officer anyway, because
Yep.
it's a safety issue.
It's a safety
Could
issue.
blow across the road and hit the neighbor's house or something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or fall.
But so it would fall under this ordinance then.
Right.
And would then the individual who owns that property then be required to deal with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Even though maybe they don't have the funds to do it?
Yes, unless it's
We
their
can't,
responsibility.
yeah, we can't take responsibility. They would have to come up with it. I mean, we've had people that have had no
Right.
money and they've had to.
No, I'm
do what
just
they've
I'm
done.
just trying to clarify.
Doesn't take much to hook a chain around an old building and
Yeah.
pull it down and light it on fire
Well, it
with the
depends on-
appropriate permit.
Depends on the size of the building.
Well, I don't know.
I understand.
My house burnt down here when I had
I
the
remember how sad that was.
Yeah,
That was such a
parsonage.
beautiful house.
It was, and so my husband and my father-in-law hooked up with trucks. We and pulled it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever works. All right, so that, just getting back to that particular question, so that would in fact qualify there.
Yeah, yeah. We'll hire Josh in his truck.
I don't have a truck.
Oh, you got rid of your truck? Oh, no. Well, that leaves that
I can
out.
check with the attorney too, with all of them.
Okay, so what do we wanna do? We wanna pass this tonight? We wanna go-
That's not what, you need to make these decisions before we do
Okay, so then why,
It's a draft.
all right,
Because
so
you
then
need to
let's take it
designate the
home and work
official.
on it then, okay?
What's that?
We'll never get this
What,
thing.
you're gonna be designated the enforcement officer, is that what you're
Not
saying?
me.
Who do you want to be the enforcement officer? Do
Yeah,
you want
just said
all
let's
three?
let's just go down through these questions and then you
that
can
would
put
be
the
great.
ordinance together and we'll sign it tomorrow.
I love
That
that
sounds
idea.
How's that?
wonderful.
Okay, down through the questions. So,
All of them.
any official appointed by you, so it could be all three of those.
Yes,
Okay, we'll leave all three.
yep.
All right, the next
Do
question.
you want to add things like processed
So,
wood?
the definition of junk is down here in the E.
Yeah, so,
Is there anything you wanna add to that? Now, anything that's garbage, like biological and it's rotting, that kind of thing, that's already covered by the health
That's
officer, so
exactly
we don't have to worry
right.
about that. This is building materials, and is there anything specific that you wanna make sure we add to junk? And the only reason I ask that is because I know that all of you have received complaints from residents, and which is the reason that we're sitting here looking at this ordinance right now. And have you heard of anything specific that we should have in here?
I don't remember.
And I am going
I don't
to,
think so. I think this
when you're all
covers it.
done, I'll ask the attorney about vehicles. I believe it's going to include boats. Cause
Yeah.
there are some old boats that'll sit in the yard for a while too.
Yes, that's a good thing, because I've seen them.
Okay, and then you have to pick how many days. So, right now this is at 90 days. If a vehicle, a junk motor vehicle is unregistered, uninspected for 90 days, you can extend that to, 150 days, or is 90 days too short of a time, too long of a time? It's, what's the select board's pleasure there?
90
Madam
days
Chair.
is too short.
Or
90
I
days.
think 90 is too, and
That's
I
what
would
I kind
go
of thought.
for like a 180-day period would be
Yep.
my
180?
recommendation, just mine.
Yes, I agree.
Agreed. See, we're getting right through this.
I
Yep,
love it,
move
I
along.
love it. Moving, okay. How many are acceptable to you? So in this ordinance, you can pick from 1 to 4. Now, somebody may have one vehicle
Yes.
that's unregistered and uninsured for over 180 days because they're rebuilding it. How many are acceptable to you?
I say 2.
I'll agree.
So if it's 2 or more,
2 or more.
okay. All right, next question, so we're going to, how high would you like the fence? So you can have junk in your yard, so like the salvage yard has a fence.
Let's not make it as tall as the Tower of
So-
Babel, okay?
It's up to you, you can go, let's see, what is the limit on that?
12
the,
feet?
the fence needs to be as high as it takes
As
to.
the, cover up the junk.
To cover up the junk, and if, you know, so if you have a, if you have a, you know, a steam shovel parked in your backyard.
Yeah.
And you haven't classified it as art, then you probably better have a pretty high fence, I guess.
You've
This
seen the
says
steam
8
shovel with
feet.
the
Do you wanna
star-
go 12?
sun on it, haven't you?
Well, this is at least, remember, it's gotta cover the view from all the neighbors and from
8
the
feet
roadway.
then, leave it.
So this is just the at least.
All right, 8 feet.
I like 8 feet, that seems to be
You
reasonable.
like
Yep.
the 8 feet,
Yep.
okay. I tried to guess what you would like. Okay,
You did
so
Yeah, you did good.
then we get into the towing issues. That has to be a law enforcement official that can do that, again.
That's fine.
Unless it's on somebody, if it's on your property and it's not yours, you can have it towed. But otherwise, it has to be the law enforcement individual that does it.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay, and we're leaving out the salvage yards,
Yeah.
5A.
Well, if I might just ask a question about that, would we be able to grandfather existing yards or no?
We're not writing this doesn't address salvage yards at all.
Oh, I see.
So the salvage yard that's there, I mean, it does in the fact that if there's junk vehicles there, he's gotta have the fence up, but he already does.
Could you add,
We're not zoning that.
you know,
sort
the
of.
salvage yards, with an exception of, salvage yards in a flood zone? Could we do that?
Well,
Should we?
a salvage yard in a flood zone is
Couldn't-
prohibited by the other thing.
Yeah,
You-
okay.
yeah.
And by the state, they have.
Alright.
The state,
to
it's because of the leakage of.
Right, okay, so
fluids.
number 5A, shouldn't that say for the junk will, have already been there for at least 180 days, right?
On 5A,
No, that was a car.
Oh, that was cars, never mind, so 90 days for any other junk?
this is motor vehicle,
5A,
so remove or screen, that's removing or screening within,
no, 5A is, it says upon receiving written notice from the enforcement officer to do so, the owner of any junk or junk motor vehicle is
No.
covered in violation of section 4.
this is, you mean, they have to cover it up within 30 days, that's already been 180 days, that's when they're getting the written notice.
Okay,
So then after that, then they have 30 days after they're told, hey, it's obviously junk.
no,
you
it
can't-
should be noted that 5A here on the front page says,
On this,
yeah,
We'll go
should
through
be
your
noted
questions.
that the junk will have already been there for at least 90 days before receiving notice to
Well,
remove
that's-
it. What should it say, 90, or should it say the 180?
well,
This is just
that is
notes.
180, those are the notes though,
Okay.
you've changed that
Okay.
90 to 100.
All right.
Gotcha.
So after, so after it's there for 180 days, they can get notice, they've got
Okay.
30 days to cover it or remove it.
Yep.
You can extend that 30 days, but like this is trying to say, it's already been there for 180.
Right,
So
okay.
it's up to you if you wanna change that.
think
If you like the 30,
When you saying covering it, now you're talking a fence
Putting
or
a
just a
fence.
cover?
nope, they gotta put a fence over, they have to obstruct it from view from either a
No, I'm-
neighbor or the road.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but if you put a temporary garage over it, like one of those portable garages, that would be covering it too, wouldn't it?
Well, this
Yeah,
says.
that would,
It
Effectively
would be- no one would be
screened
able
by
to see
a
anything
fence
other
or
than-
vegetation. So it
Yeah,
cannot just be
vegetation.
covered with tarp.
yeah.
This specifically says fence or vegetation. So if they wanna plant those decorative bushes that
But
are close together.
what
they
I'm
can
saying
do
is if you build one of these portable garages and park the thing inside,
that. But
then that is not allowed per this?
no, this says a fence or vegetation at least 8 feet high.
Well,
That's
then
what
I'd
this
say,
says.
add,
Do you wanna add the garage?
Well, the thing is
A build-
people
I
are
like
using
that,
those a lot for working on vehicles maybe that they're not gonna keep forever. And they don't wanna put up a full, structure, cause it's only gonna be there
A
temporarily.
temporary structure.
Temporary structure, really.
Suitable structure.
yeah, suitable or, yeah,
I mean, there's quite a few of them in
Permanent
town
and or-
here too.
temporary.
Yeah,
I would say, you know, temporary and, you know, whatever I just said.
There's quite a few of those in town already.
Yeah.
And they're used to house either.
Permanent or temporary, either by permanent or temporary.
And you can't see what's
I'm
inside.
just wondering if once those go up, if the reason that's not in here, if once those go up, it's not in view anymore. It's not abandoned, it's actually a housed.
House.
Oh, maybe
item.
that's why.
So maybe that's
Maybe
why
that's
it's
it.
not
Yeah.
in here, but
Yeah, that
sure.
I
makes
will,
sense.
I
it's
just
gonna be
wanted
reviewed
to-
by the attorney before we
Yeah,
do
the
it.
I just
judge,
wanted to.
okay.
I will check on that.
All right, sounds great. Let's go.
Good call. Okay,
Sounds good.
fines, you can do between $500 and $800 per violation, up to where you wanna go. So remember, they've been warned over a period of time, so it's not
Right.
like you're springing a fine on them.
I'm okay with them. Yeah, fine.
500, yeah.
Do
Do you wanna keep it at 500 or?
I would say open end, I mean,
5 to
5 to 8,
Well, don't-
because
No, you
then
need to pick a
we,
number.
oh, we have to, why can't
Yes.
we say, look,
Well,
look,
because
we
have
can
to be-
fine
Can
you
be
from this
fair.
to this.
But we have to be fair across the
It
board.
has to be the same for everybody.
We can't have
Just because I
special-
don't like you doesn't mean I can fight you more.
That's right, yeah.
Well, I never
So-
thought of that, but yeah, it's right, you can, personalities could
Yeah,
get
you
in the way.
don't want it.
All right,
I think
$500.
Because it's every day.
Yep, $500.
It is per
Yeah,
violation.
that does mount up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yes, it could.
This is a
Yep.
way to alleviate our
I'll
tax
choose the
problem.
$500. So that's
Just kidding.
I wish it was that easy.
Yeah, me too.
100. Look at that, that's all of my questions. So
Okay.
now I will type this up and you will pass that at the next one.
Yes.
Yeah.
With those
It's attorney
edits.
first, though, right?
What's that?
You send to the attorney first?
Yes, I will, and we'll get it all typed up and then you'll have, and we'll get this, and then we've
Never
gotta
see it again.
publicize it and all that stuff, so.
Okay,
First step is done. Whew,
Hey, you won.
that was
All right.
great, thank you guys.
all right, public participation of any item that is on the agenda. Would anybody like to talk on anything that we've already talked about? Absolutely not. Okay, media. Deb, you have anything for us? Town administrative report, go ahead, Deb. Yeah, sure, go ahead, Michelle.
Okay, I'll try to be very quick. Received the contract from the RHR Smith and Company, which is the auditors. Nothing you have to vote on because you already voted on it, but it looks good unless you would like, it's in line with what we submitted with the RFPs. It's unless you would like the town attorney to look at it, you can sign it now,
Never
but
have
it is
before, but you
the
can
same
have them.
price and that is totally up to the board.
If you wanna, because we've already voted to go with these people, the motion would be for the chairman to sign it. And we move on forward with
But
it.
do we need a motion for you to sign it, we've already approved it? I have no problem
I
making a
cannot
motion.
sign it without your,
I move that we allow the chair, instruct the chair to sign.
okay, because I wasn't gonna sign it, so
That's
now
why
that
we're
you've instructed
instructing
me
you.
to do so.
No, you have to, she said so, second.
All those in
Okay.
favor signify by saying aye.
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 Oh, any opposed? If I didn't say that, Sandy would get me.
Okay, and just an FYI, VLCT has set their assessment for the year. And it's a very small increase, it is $3,495, I think it's like $100 more this year than it was last year. And we'll get that in the budget talks. We have submitted a grant for $152,000 to the assistance to firefighters. Big thank you to Cindy Turnley in the treasurer's office. She was able to set up at the very last minute a ghost account. Because to apply for this grant, we needed to give them a routing number and a bank account number, or they wouldn't even take our application.
Wow.
And this was through FEMA, and I did confirm that it was FEMA by calling an independent number, but it was still, it's always scary putting that stuff out on the internet, because even though it's the federal government, people break in all the time. So she was able to get that done on Thursday, and with Todd Capen's help, the chief, and JJ Wielden's help, we were able to really get that grant out. It's a long shot, it's a lot of money though, so really wanted to get our name in the bucket, and thanks to a bunch of people in the town that pulled together to make that happen. So whether we get it or not, it was a great display of teamwork. I wanted y'all to know that. Okay. Also, the town of Vernon is getting audited for voting. And Tim has got that well under control. It's really just bringing all the ballots up to Montpelier and having them recount them. So he'll be doing that next week. Any comments on the draft audit? We want to get that finalized, so please read that through and get any of your comments to me, and we can get that all finalized and out. The Wyndham Solid Waste Management District is getting ready to vote on their assessment, and ours right now, if the budget goes through the way that they've decided to do the assessments, we will go down a little bit, about not much, no.
How did they decide to do it? Cause I know we discussed this with Cheryl and Tim.
They ended up changing it to a 5% of grandless, they went a different direction. But it was more fair, what is the word I'm looking for?
Equitable.
Equitable, thank you. It was more equitable to towns that did not have that influx and that were closer to the station rather than that did not have the transport fees.
Gotcha.
So that was taken into account and so in the assessments now, so.
And I know our recycle bins and everything were part of that decision, whether they would still stay, and
Yeah,
that would be keeping
that
them.
was keeping them. That's why the distance was part of the
Yeah,
assessment, because of that, they decided to keep them,
okay,
okay? So,
no deal.
we actually we reduced a little bit on that one, not a lot, a little bit.
Yay.
Good.
Okay, and on December 1st, the representatives from Entergy and North Star will be meeting with the Vermont Decommissioning Citizens Advisory Panel about the sale of Vermont Yankee property, and that's from 6 to 9 and the Brattleboro Area Middle School, in case anybody is interested in attending, okay? And
Just a minute. Go ahead.
Just so you know, the entire planning commission is going.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And if you have any questions that you would like asked on behalf of Vernon, I'm there to represent the town of Vernon.
Yeah.
And hopefully could ask those appropriately.
Okay. Michelle also mentioned questions for the audit firm, because he's not coming tomorrow night. He will be in December. I have my own questions and stuff like that I've written up. Well, actually, Michelle wrote them up for me. But if you do, get them to her so she can get them to Chad. So when he comes, he'll have the answers for us. Anyway, so go ahead, I'm sorry. to
And
interrupt
that's all I had,
you. Okay.
short and sweet.
Our upcoming meeting schedule is the budget workshop, which is for tomorrow night, November 22nd, at 6:30 downstairs here. And our next regular meeting will be Monday, December 5th. And we won't forget to put the recycling committee on at that time. And please forgive me for not remembering to do that earlier. Anyway, and then now I would like to ask to go into executive session on a personnel matter that I need to inform the board about, and it's a personnel,
Madam Chair,
yes.
I move that we go into executive session with our administrator, a personnel matter, the appointment or employment or evaluation of public officer or employee, 1 VSA 3133A3 at this time.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. We'll be going in at 7:22.